Did you miss me? I know you did. I missed you too. Probably not as much, if I'm honest. But you know, when they say disappear for a year, they say it for a reason, okay? And, well, I've been doing that, okay? I decided to stop playing this in and out, in and out, in and out with social media. Social media is not going to rule my life anymore. Thank you. It does not rule my life anymore. So I had to really take a really hard look at everything and decide what I was not going to do and decide what I was going to do. What I wasn't going to do was going to let Instagram views and all of those things rule my sleep pattern, my eating pattern. Like, dude, it's so unhealthy. And so I really had to do a lot of digging. I had to look in the mirror. I had to look in the Bible. I had to sit with God. I had to sit alone. I had to sit with some friends. And, well, this is not how I expected this to go. But this is the very first episode of my hiding place, which is my new podcast. So, I definitely did not expect it to be like this the first time. But it does make sense, let's be real. Me doing my makeup in front of you guys are comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with that. It keeps me focused, keeps me comfortable enough so I can get on here and do what I'm supposed to do, and that is basically just share my testimony with you guys about the last couple of years in my life and how I found my way back to the Lord and what's happened ever since. So I guess I can really just kind of start with Starbucks. I quit. Woot woot. I quit. I finally quit. For those of you who don't know, I was there for 6 years. So it was not a short amount of time. And, you know, it was definitely something that changed my life for the better. And I'm gonna be really honest, it was not something I wanted to let go. But God told me I was ready about a year ago, to be honest with you. He was like, he told me verbatim. I can remember like it was yesterday, honestly. He told me in the back room at Starbucks. I was doing dishes. It was during one of those shifts where I was like really, I was just proud of myself for not walking out that day, okay? I'll just put it that way. So I was in the back praying, trying to get my life together, you know, so that I could not cry at work again, while I was simultaneously crying at work again. So, as clear as day, I heard the Lord say quit, and I didn't. I didn't. I just straight up didn't. I was like, that was Satan. There's no way. There's no way that he would tell me to quit like this, because I have $0 in my bank account. I have no job lined up. Did I say no money in the bank account? Because I had no money in the bank account. And I was just like, alright, well, I guess we'll just keep doing what we're gonna do, because I'm stubborn that way. So, where I was, I'm not anymore. We're changing our words in 2024, amen, hallelujah, okay? But yeah, it's just been me fighting tooth and nail against what I knew God was telling me to do. So, fast forward a little bit. A lot has happened. So much that I don't even know where to start, to be honest. But I do know that when I was in California at Monations in September, he told me again. He made it very obvious to me again. And I was like, okay, maybe this is my time for Monet. Like, maybe, like, I'm really gonna do it this time. And for those of you who don't know, like, it's not a small thing. It's very easy. It is easy. Well, no, it's simple. It's not easy. It's simple. It's not easy. So I tried to dig into that again. And I got nowhere with that again. And I quickly lost my passion for it again. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll just start picking up shifts again. So I don't know if you noticed a pattern here, but Starbucks has been my safety net for 6 years. They say sometimes, especially in Monet, they have said multiple times that there's almost a sense of there's almost a sense of I got no choice that like puts us in the position mentally for us to do the things that we were supposed to do this whole time. Does that make sense? So we have to get almost pushed out into the world. And God is like, I'm gonna have to take some things away from you because you just won't do what I need you to do. Like, you and I both know you're hearing me, but you're just not doing it. And that was me. So my bank account got lower and lower and lower, and my friendships got weirder and more distant than ever again. My job went to a whole another level of bad that I've never seen. And all the while I'm still just like, yeah, okay, well, I'm waiting on the Lord to bring me something. Well, he didn't, because I wasn't moving. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. So, about 2 or 3 months ago, at this point, time feels so scattered and all over the place. For me, especially, I'm not just talking about pandemic-wise, I'm just talking about in general. So, it's been really hard. And plus, something about me is that, like, my brain can only take so much, and my brain has a lot going on in a lot of different ways. I always say I have multiple conversations going on at once, right? Well, he's trying to shut that up. He's trying to shut all those voices up, right? So he had to really isolate me. He had to get me to a place where I felt like I had to leave Starbucks, like it was going to be no other choice. Like, I feel like I'm probably going to get fired, so it's better for me to just quit than to get fired, especially after being there for 6 years. So, after a series of events that I will get into eventually later, maybe not this episode, I quit. I turned in my notice and I quit. And that was a very big deal for me because I had no job. I had no money. It was very much so balls to the wall, which I have deemed this year. I don't really have a word of the year. I have phrases. Balls to the wall. That's this year's phrase. Because I'm not going to be able to trust the Lord otherwise. That's obvious to me now, right? So, balls to the wall. So I quit my job. The day that I turned in my notice was a Tuesday. Thursday, a job that I have been trying to get for 7-8 months, maybe, accepted me. Then I started training. So yeah, that's what happened with that. So that was 3 weeks ago. And ever since then, the only way I've been able to describe my life is I feel like when I turned in my notice at Starbucks, it felt like I walked through a door that had a bucket of water on top of it, and the bucket of water is what fell on me, and that's like kind of what happened. God started blessing me like crazy. Like stuff that I had been wanting to come into fruition for years started to happen. And it's because I was obedient. So, fast forward, I start training. I'm really happy. I'm telling everybody again. And on Friday, this past Friday, I got fired. My first day was supposed to be Monday. My first official day was supposed to be Monday, and I got fired. So then, the next day, so I get fired on a Thursday. On that Friday, I wake up and I had $2,000 in my bank account. Yeah, I'll let that sink in, right? So, long story short, I don't know what I'm doing, but God does, and I'm very excited about it because He's showing me that it's time for me to really start living my dream full time. It's time for me to start doing the things that make me happy instead of focusing on my mom, focusing on my friends, focusing on my job, focusing on so many different things all at once that I can't seem to just get anywhere with myself. So, this is balls to the wall. This is just, this is me doing what I'm supposed to do. And none of it feels right. None of it feels comfortable. None of it feels up to par with my perfectionism that I'm still trying to kill off. But I know it's going to bless somebody. I know it's going to help somebody. And that's the important part. I'm going to be real honest with you guys. I felt really stupid when he told me to start this podcast because I was like, really? You want me to start something else? Like, can we just finish something? Something. Can we check something off the list, please? He said no. He told me that I'm not really supposed to use Monet. Well, obviously, I just use Monet. But I'm not really supposed to use Monet as a business anymore. Well, right now. He told me the other day, that I'll be able to do it. I just gotta stop using it. I mean, it's the same thing as me stepping away from Instagram, you know? I can't let you rule my life. I can't let you rule everything. God is my provider, and if God is my provider, I need to act like it. So, you know, he's just really exposed a lot to me about what I needed to fix in the last couple of days. And I'm really excited. I have church tonight, so I'm like, let's go, God. Come on, let's go find out more things I need to fix. Because honestly, the closer that I get to God, the closer I get to being exactly who I've always wanted to be. I get closer to being the woman I want to be, closer to the person that I want to be when I get married, closer to the career woman that I want to be and the entrepreneur that I've always dreamed of being. The closer I get to God, the more he heals me and the more that I get questions answered about myself. Like, I understand now why I get angry over certain things. I understand now why, you know, certain things trigger me that I've never been able to figure out before. And it's because I'm simply closer to God. I'm simply just saying, okay, I expect you to answer these questions because look at what you've done. Like, I have this in my back pocket now, and I have so much in my back pocket at this point. He just keeps adding things to my back pocket that it's hard to forget what God has done. And so that's what I'm having to hold on to. I would be lying to you if I said that I wasn't scared sometimes. But God doesn't get mad at me for that. So I'm working on not getting mad at me for that because, you know, I'm still dealing with stuff in therapy and stuff like that, but I'm working on it and he knows about that. He cares about that. He cares more about the fact that I'm working on myself than he does about the fact that I still mess up. And I am so incredibly thankful for the last couple of months of my life because they've been really hard. I'm not gonna lie. I've felt really lost, but they've been really worth it. I've found out so much about myself and I feel ready to take on the world. Like, honestly, when the Bible says peace that surpasses all understanding, it's because I don't even understand how I'm not freaking out right now. Because the old me would have been freaking out. The old me would have been like, I gotta freaking get a car. I gotta do all these things. Otherwise, how am I gonna move forward? But it got to a point where I realized, like, it's kind of funny. I challenged God. I was like, you want it? You got it. You want to be my provider? Be my provider. Because, Lord mercy, how the heck? How? Good luck. Good luck. I literally told God to square up. Like, I'm not kidding. I literally told God to square up, and he did. Oh, wow. He did. Just saying. So, that's a little bit about how we got here. I really wanted this podcast to be with other people the whole time, but God was like, we'll get there. We'll get there. Just do it first. And, well, I'm doing it. And that's all that matters. That's all he cares about. It doesn't matter how this really comes out, because I know it's going to help somebody eventually somewhere, because it's not my podcast, it's God's podcast. So I have been really putting a lot of pressure on myself to be perfect and do all the things, because it was for God, and I've never started anything for God before. I've never done anything that was not something that I didn't want to do, that I didn't think I really was going to make any money off of, that I didn't feel like was going to benefit my business in any way. You know? I've never done that before. So again, I've kind of just had to tell God to square up and be like, okay, you want it, you got it. You're going to have to get this podcast off the ground. I can't do that. This is your podcast. If you want it off the ground, you're going to get it off the ground. And I trust you to do that. I have to come in expecting into your presence. So I expect you to do something with this. And even though half the time I truly feel like I am just babbling and saying absolutely nothing, for some reason people like to listen to me. So that's got to be God, because I don't know. I can't explain it. There's a lot of people out there who have told me firsthand that they just think I'm stupid. So having people listen to me, learn from me, have confidence in me, that's really new. And I'm going to be really honest, it started at the church. It was funny because God told me to join a small group for like a year before. Wow, I really can't listen, can I? Well, I can now, but I couldn't then. But yeah, it was really funny because I remember before I became really good friends with Alexis, you know, I had her as an acquaintance. We were new here together. We served on the same team, like the new people at our church, and it was just funny because how many times has Alexis asked me if I'm in a small group? And then all of a sudden, everybody was asking me if I was in a small group. And then eventually I was like, you know what? I think God wants me to join a small group because, Lord, every single person that was a Christian that I was talking to was like, are you in a small group? You should join a small group. Be in my small group. Are you in a small group? Small group, small group, small group, small group. So then I joined a small group. And then it was weird because it was an all women's small group. And I was like, really? We're doing this again? Really? We're doing this again. I don't really want to hang out with women. I'm good on that. And he was like, we're doing this. And I did that for a year. Until I left that small group with some really great friends. Alexis, who is my, she's my soul sister. She's like, it's God and us. Like, wait, it's weird. It's just weird because it's like right now I don't have a person, so it's like, this is gonna sound weird, but Alexis is my person. Like, I have a relationship with her that's completely platonic that almost seems romantic because it's got God in the center of it. It's really weird. It's something I've never experienced, ever in my life. Ever. Like, I've had good friends. I have some really great friends who are not Christians right now. I really do. I have some really awesome friends. But I've never had a friendship like this with anyone. And, you know, she's just been a real asset in my life. And you're going to meet her soon enough, because she's basically co-captain with this whole situation right here. That's why I haven't started yet. Let's be real. Like, I wanted to do it with other people. But I'm still in this place in my life where God is like, you're okay. You're good. You need to be my friend. You got them. They're over there. They're not going anywhere. But I really just was the type of person to do everything with someone. Like, I wasn't in a romantic relationship by any means, but I was doing things with, I was always with a friend. I was always with someone. And then God really cut that off. And it started when I lost my car. And that was 2 years ago. So I still feel really lonely sometimes. But we're working on that. That's why I'm starting to use different verbiage. I'm starting to talk different, because Jesus is my best friend. And Jesus has also been my boyfriend for this whole entire time, so that's been cool too. It's been cool weird, but cool. Cool weird because it's not like anything I've ever experienced. But, you know, that doesn't mean that it's bad. That just means that it's different. And we're going with it, you know? So, we're just going with it. I believe that I'm going to get married. Because God knows that I don't want to be alone. So, I'm just going to trust Him for that too. Because He knows I don't date. Because nobody has time for your tomfoolery, honestly. But, you know, He knows my heart and He knows what I want. So, there you go. We're just going to throw that at Him too. And we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what bounces back. Or I may just lose the desire completely to want to be with somebody. Who knows? But I don't really see that happening either. So we'll just see what happens. What's really gonna freak me out is if I already know my husband, because if I already know my husband, like, really, can we move this along? Can you let a girl know? Can you let a girl know, or at least let him know so he can let me know? Like, a girl wants to know, you know? A girl wants to know. Just saying. My lashes look so bad right now. It's not funny. I got a little carried away with the mascara. That's easy to do, though. My mom watches TV like we're in a movie theater. So, this is not supposed to be about the makeup, but that's how I fix that. Just tweezers, running them through and getting the clumps out. Although this side. Anyway, okay, so what else? That's basically it. That's the Reader's Digest version of how we got here. It's going to be a lot more entertaining and a lot more detailed when Alexis is actually going to be on here. But, again, it's not my timing. So, you'll know when I know. Which is part of the issue that I have with God. I'm like, can you just drop some hints? Because there's a lot of the times where I'm like, oh yeah, that was God. It wasn't. It was me. It was me. And I was just being human. And God knows that. But also God knows me, and God knows that when he reveals himself, I put it together. Well, that's because he shows me. I'm a very visual person, so he literally will show me like visions or conversations or people or words. And he knows exactly how to talk to me, so he knows that I'm going to put it all together. And then I put it all together. So, here we go. Here goes absolutely nothing. If you never start, you never do, I guess. No one's ever said that, and that's not a good saying. But, you know, it's true. The principle itself is true. So, there we go. There's episode 1. And I guess I'll see you in episode 2. Because, yeah. This is what we're doing now. My hiding place. My hiding place. Maybe next time I will explain how we got the name. Because what a story. Aww, I love it. So cute. Alright, I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Behave. Make good choices, okay?